And now, a moment of silence for all Packers fans around the world. As Matt Patricia was fired today, breaking the hearts of us all. Thank you. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Gone too soon, Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, Grossi, and today we're going to be talking about the Lions' decision to fire not only their head coach, Matt Patricia, but also their general manager, Bob Quinn. Now, this shouldn't seem like a shock to anybody. However, I thought that they were at least going to wait potentially until after the season. Now, there's a lot of rumors that are going around as to why the Fords decided now was the best time to fire Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. There was rumors that Sheila Ford Hamp was at Best Buy yesterday trying to see if they could get head coaches on sale, but unfortunately did not come up with anything. There was also speculation that Matt Patricia visited the Ford family during Thanksgiving, in which Martha Ford challenged Patricia and said, "Hey, Matt, come on over here, let's split this wishbone." And Matt Patricia was unable to get the bigger piece, in which Martha Ford replied, "If you can't beat a 95-year-old in getting the bigger piece of a wishbone, how can you run a football team?" And Matt Patricia did not have an answer. If there's any Lions fans still out there, they know that Matt Patricia has been underwhelming to say the very least. And of course, Matt Patricia came in after Jim Caldwell went 9-7 for 2 straight seasons, and somehow Matt Patricia was like, "Oh, you thought that was bad? Try this one on for size." So right this second, offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell will be the new Lions interim head coach until they can find a new one. As for Patricia, he was in the middle of his 3rd season with the Lions. His original contract was slated through 2022, as well as GM Bob Quinn's. And Matt Patricia with the Detroit Lions went 13-29-1 when he took over in 2018, which I know requires a little bit of math, but is not a good record. Bob Quinn's been the GM in Detroit since 2016 and has had a 31-43-1 record. The Lions, however, are no stranger to changes, as this past June, Martha Ford stepped down and you had Sheila Ford Hamp actually take over the position, and she came in and was like, "Listen, we expect to win." And Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn most certainly did not do that. And I don't think there's any Lions fans out there that are actually too sad about this news today, as many of them wanted Matt Patricia gone. Even last year, they were calling for his firing, and he just made some weird-ass moves, whether it wasn't getting along with some players and having players actually leave the team, or whether it was the fact that he tried to make Matthew Stafford into a Tom Brady clone, even though that's exactly what Matthew Stafford isn't. He just never seemed to have a good handle on the team, and plus, he drove around a golf cart everywhere, and the memes were just delicious. Now, of course, this brings up some questions about what the hell the Lions are going to do this offseason. Obviously, get a new head coach and GM. I hear Bill O'Brien is available. Maybe they'll be in the running for a guy like Eric Bieniemy, whose name has been floating around with a number of different teams and their openings, like the Falcons or the Texans, or maybe even the Jets if they decide to ever exercise Adam Gase from their halls. And it's not only their front office personnel, but it's also going to be what they're going to do with their actual player personnel as well. Matthew Stafford, are they going to move on from him finally? Maybe you bring in a new GM and new head coach, and they're going to want to install a brand fresh new face of the franchise, which makes a lot of sense, even though I don't think Matthew Stafford is necessarily the problem there in Detroit. As of right this second, the Lions hold the 9th overall pick in the 2021 draft, so they absolutely can be in contention to get a franchise QB. The question is going to be, are they actually going to pull the trigger? So this kind of just concludes a sad 3 years under Matt Patricia and really just throws their entire future into uncertainty. The Lions have been one of those teams for many years, and even myself as a Packers fan have said, like, I don't know what's wrong with them. They have the talent on the football team. They're just not putting it together. I think one of the big problems that they're going to run into in these next couple of years is that it takes a while for a head coach to get their feet wet and to really be successful. And so, looking ahead even the next year or maybe 2 years, they're still going to be in kind of like this rebuild mode, especially if they are starting with a brand new franchise QB. DeAndre Swift, when healthy, actually looks really darn good, so maybe he can finally be their answer to running back. They have great receivers like Galladay and, of course, Marvin Jones. So it's not like they have to do a complete and total fire sale, but I imagine you're going to see a lot more changes occur with the Detroit Lions in this offseason. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you surprised about this news? Has it come too soon, too late? Packers fans, I know you're hurting today, but We'll get through this. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can always send me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy at all social media. See down below. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout out and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pat, go.